Welcome everyone to Weekend Wind Down. Just give me a moment here while people come on, and I'm ducking my head because my virtual assistant is not feeling well, so I have to share my own stuff. Can you imagine? I'm so not used to that. So let me just share this broadcast on my business page while people get notified. Hi, Chloe. Hi, Julia. I am just trying to share this broadcast on my business page and in my private group, Actionable Entrepreneurs. If you're not there, you should join. How are you, Julia? I will tell you what I'm drinking in a minute. Let me just share on my business page. Usually my son, which is, hi Chloe, who's one of my virtual fabulous people, does this for me, but he's not feeling well, so I'm on my own. Hi Richie. Let me share in my group now before we get started today. I actually manage quite a few groups and am an administrator of quite a few groups, so I want to make sure I'm sharing in the right places. So anyway, happy Friday, everyone. I'm so excited, as usual, that it's Friday. I am having a red wine today, which is not my normal, but I'm trying to transition myself to some red wine because it's better for you. It usually gives me a headache, but today I'm drinking Roanoke Vineyards Gabby's Cabernet Franc 2014. So if Roanoke Vineyard is watching, they always tell me how long I'm supposed to save it for, years till it gets better with age, but I basically just drink it. Thank you for all the hearts. Everybody share. This is going to be a great show. It's going to be a call-in style, so if you are watching from your phone, you can call in. It's been a really busy week for me. I hope it has been a great week for you guys as well. So let me just give you a little rundown of what's gone on in my world, and then we'll bring on one scheduled guest last minute today, believe it or not, Mark McDonough of Tastefully Inspired Podcast. So I'm excited to bring him on because we are doing a joint Facebook Live next week, and we want to talk to you and announce that we're going to be talking all about virtual assistants. So I'm going to bring him on shortly. So hang tight, Mark. So let's see what's going on by me. I was able to finish putting together my content calendar for like 3 or 4 months, which is unusual for me because I'm kind of a last minute gal. So that was great. And then the second group is up and running for the Sales and Leadership Academy for interior designers. So that's my second group that I'm running. I only take 6 people in that. Julia transitioned to red. Yes, you know what? If you're going to drink, they say it's better for you. So I'm trying. I'm lining up more guest coaches for my clients. This month we had an SEO specialist. Hi, Diana. And next month I'm going to be bringing someone in to talk about pricing. She's an interior designer who's quite a good friend of mine. And also I'm going to be lining up a blogging specialist. So for my designers who are in my programs, either one-on-one or groups, these are extra special trainings that I put on the calendar once a month for you guys. So that it complements and gives you more to learn besides what I'm teaching you on your one-on-ones or in your groups, which I love to do because I am not a specialist in everything and I like to learn myself. So I bring on these people and they teach you a little bit about what you can do in these different areas. So I'm excited about that. We'll talk about next Tuesday when Mark comes on. And then in May, I'm doing another webinar for Ivy Mark. They asked me to come on again. I think I did Your Business in Words, which a lot of people know that exercise for them a couple of months ago, and they asked me to come on again, and I will be talking about how to manage client expectations, which is always a challenge for everybody. So let me see if Mark is here. Okay, Mark, I saw you a second ago. There you are. Let's see if you can. It's not showing that you're watching from your phone, but let's see. It actually says can't bring you in. Okay, that's because you were requesting. Okay. Walk on. Hey, Mark, how are you?
How you doing?
Good. At least you're out in the sun. It's actually sunny today in New York for the first time in a very long time and not freezing cold.
Oh my God, I know this weather's crazy. One day raining, one day sunny, taking advantage of it. I actually went full bore and I actually got my car washed yesterday, which of course is an omen that it's going to rain today. So hopefully.
All right, we'll cross our fingers and toes. Yeah, it's been terrible here. Today is beautiful. Tomorrow's supposed to be 80 degrees, and then it's supposed to be back down to 50 degrees and raining on Sunday.
Oh my God. I wonder how our buddies in High Point are going to be doing.
I know. You're not going?
No. High Point is a lot of footwork and everything, and I didn't hit the treadmill for the last 3 months, so I think I would have been hurting after the first day. But you know, it's what it is.
Yeah, I kind of said this year is my year of no traveling except for what I have to do. So I'm going to the Interior Design Society National Conference at the end of this month, and everything else I'm trying to skip for now. Next year I'll travel more. So we reached out to each other to see,
Yep.
You reached out to me to ask me to participate in a Facebook Live that we're hosting together next week. So tell everyone who you are first, just in case they don't know, but I'm sure they know, and where they can find you.
Yeah, no worries. My name's Mark McDonough. I run Tastefully Inspired. I've done marketing and licensing with Roger Thomas, Clodagh, Vincent Wolf, Preston Bailey, Timothy Corrigan, Lori Weitzner, tons of others. Right now, I'm running a group, social media for interior designers, but I think it's kind of like getting a little bit more general. You know how it is. Everyone needs help in certain aspects. So,
Yes.
And one thing I want to say is before I did reach out to Nancy, like anyone that I bring on in the group that I'm running, I always vet. And Nancy is one of those people I really don't, because I just know she's so good at what she does. Like Nancy's no BS, straight talk, and I like that. So when virtual assistants popped into my mind, you were the first person, pretty much the only person I really thought of that could give the group, you know, straight no BS talk on how to do a virtual assistant. Because I mean, it is hard. You're giving control to someone else. So I was like,
Yeah.
you know, Nancy's good like that. So I reached out to you directly to see if you could talk to my group.
Yeah, I give up all my control to a lot of virtual assistants.
Well, no, I mean, but you have a method to the madness, so that's what people need. You know, you can't just give it away and just be like, oh, okay, hey, goodbye. So that's one of the things I wanted to bring into the groups to teach them about a little bit. Our group right now is getting crazy with social media activity. A lot of people are just saying, I'm getting so many comments, so many likes, so many shares, so many everything. I need to get back to it. I don't have enough time. It's so funny. A lot of people came into my group and were like, we're not getting any engagement. Within a couple of weeks, they're like, I'm getting too much engagement. I'm getting too much engagement. And so I'm like, yeah. And now we're talking virtual assistants. So I really want to have you school them a little bit on virtual assistants and see how they can take that to the whole next level, you know?
Yeah, and I like the fact that they're learning how to do it themselves first, because I'm a believer in don't give up any control until at least you know how to do it yourself. I believe everyone should be the CEO of their company. They do not have to do everything themselves, but they have to understand it and direct it before they just hand it over to any, you know, oh, they're an expert, I'll let them do it. And then they find out that it's going all wrong.
Not only that, you can call people on like their, you know, what they're doing or what they're not doing, you know, like you can look and see stuff and say, you know what, they're not doing that. They are doing, you know, I mean, you need to be able to call people on their, you know, BS, because a lot of people out there are going to like get a little bored of like the, you know, posting this thing. So you really have to know every aspect of your company in order to be able to run a proper list of checks and balances in order to make sure that everyone's doing what they need to make sure your ship's floating the right way and going in the right direction.
Definitely. I actually have a funny story about that. I have multiple virtual assistants. My definition of virtual assistants, and we'll go over this on Tuesday night too, is just anyone who's not working in your house with you or in your location with you, right? They could be doing multiple things in your business. So I have a great team over in the Philippines that does a lot of my LinkedIn. So next thing you know, this morning I'm looking at my LinkedIn and they're telling people, you know, from me, I'd love for you to join my group. And some of them are like, you know, old boyfriends and they're not even entrepreneurs. And I'm like, okay, like checks and balances, like you're saying, this is a new team for me. So they have to understand my business model, and you have to direct them in the beginning and set the system for it to be successful. So let me just see who's popping on here. Hi, Elizabeth. I know. You know what, Elizabeth, it was last minute. See, you're one of her favorites, she's saying.
Hi, Elizabeth.
And can you tell me why you refused my friend request? Uh-oh. Is he talking to me or is he talking to you?
I have no idea. I don't refuse anyone. I'm pretty open. Hey, you know what's actually kind of funny now that you mentioned LinkedIn? I am kind of wondering where LinkedIn is going. Microsoft bought LinkedIn. And so I heard that Microsoft was just going to pull out the contacts database from LinkedIn and then basically turn LinkedIn into some kind of add-on feature to Outlook.
Okay, Richie, are you watching? My boyfriend works for Microsoft. Did he go? Richie's watching. Richie, you want to weigh in on that? You can't come on live. I don't know how to do three people on a live, but if you want to type in, if he knows of any plans that they may have, see that? There he goes. No, no, and no.
Cool. Because I've been kind of holding off LinkedIn. I got, I think, around 4,000 people on LinkedIn, but I've been holding off a little bit just because, you know, there's so many social networks out there. There's crazy. So many social networks. So yeah, you know, no, hey, I'm all for improvement. Yeah. I just don't have time. I mean, LinkedIn for me, I get like maybe 5 requests a day to add. So I do those. But then mostly LinkedIn is kind of like one of those things where there's just too many other things going on right now. Too much stuff.
You can't be everywhere unless you have a lot of virtual assistants like I do. And
there you go.
There you go. Which ties into Tuesday, 6 o'clock Eastern and 3. Is it 6:30 or 6? 6, right? Yeah. 3 o'clock your time, 6 o'clock.
3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, we're gonna go live, and Ian's gonna join us as well. You know, something about Ian's calming voice really like sets a good tone for a lot of the live discussions. He just has that calming, like teacher tone to him. So I'm like, all right. You know,
he does. He adds that thinking value. Like I just talk off the top of my head, and then he's just like, pause. Let's give it some more thought and add value.
Totally. No, absolutely. But I'm looking forward to Tuesday. It's gonna be fun. I've been wanting to do this for a while. But at the same time, like I said, you know, you're the first person I'm bringing on outside really to come in to talk to the group. I'm gonna have it live broadcasted on Tastefully Inspired, but I shared it in the groups. So I think we already have like maybe about 30 people or something like that. So yeah. It should be a good number of people. And I'm doing it differently than most. I'm not a big fan of going live on my personal page on Facebook when it's business related. I get really nervous.
Do you?
Well, yeah, you know, here's the thing though. Facebook is weird because they're kind of like this weird kind of animal right now that I know something's going to happen to personal pages because a lot of people are kind of, you know, and I say good, you know, go for it if you can grab the loophole. A lot of people are using Facebook personal pages as this giant loophole to promote businesses, get like, you know, sponsors and paid and everything like this. And Facebook business is basically laid kind of like silent, dormant. So I have a weird, like my gut tells me that within the next few months, Facebook is probably going to go through and shut down a lot of personal pages that are being used as business.
I hope not.
And then throw a lot of features onto the business pages. I mean, that's what I would do because that's where their ad revenue comes in.
Well, listen, if I could do this, where 100%, I think I have 1,900 followers on my business page. If I could do this and you do it from your business page and they all got immediately notified, I would do that. Is there a way to do that I'm missing?
Yeah, you know what I did? Okay, here's something that's worked really, really well for me. Okay, so I create the invite on Tastefully Inspired, and then I share the invite to my groups. Okay, and I have 2 groups. So I share them to the groups, and then I go inside the group, and directly when the invite is in the group, then I basically say share, and all the people in the group get notified of the event.
I do that, but do you do that once you're live?
Once I live, I share the broadcast to every single group. And once it's going to every group, no matter where they're watching from, you get the views, the comments, and the likes. And it all stems, and I go live on my business page, share to all my groups. And then the live traffic goes right to my business page instead of the group or my personal page. So then I get a lot of traffic coming in directly to my business, but in kind of a weird way. It's kind of more like people are looking at it through the groups, but because the broadcast stems from my business page, the business page actually gets all the activity.
So do you see their comments coming through on
everything?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think I said last week, starting May 1st, I want to start doing this on my business page. But then I have to use BeLive or Zoom, which I have every program. It's ridiculous. So, right, I would start. Yeah, totally, but then I can't do the call-in show either, which I kind of like sometimes, and people are liking that.
Well, here's the thing, hitting that. The reason why I like BeLive is, now this is cool, you're going to really like this. If you go live on BeLive, because BeLive allows you to go on your business page and have multiple people, right? Now what you do is when you go live with BeLive, you add the link and you put it down below so people can click on the link and actually go into the green room feature. So people can actually join in your show through BeLive. If you include the little, like, invite someone into your broadcast link into your Facebook description when you go live. So it'll be like, hi, it's Nancy, I'm going live. If you guys want to jump in, here's the link, click on this, and then go into the green room and I'll invite you in. So you can actually run that if you post the invite link in your description once you go live. So you'll still have that call-in feature type thing, and people will get used to the BeLive format, which is totally a lot smoother. And then once they start getting used to it and they have the app installed or they have an account on BeLive, going forward, your regular guests and people who want to jump in will so be used to this BeLive format that it'll be easy for them to do on their phone and their computer. So that'd be my little hint.
That's a good idea. And then when you're talking, I'm thinking, you know what? Zoom does that too.
Zoom can do it too. I was in between Zoom and BeLive, and the only reason I liked BeLive over Zoom was
the banners.
I like the banners. I love those, but you know what the other thing is? You can actually talk to the developers. You can talk to the developers. You can talk to the people who own the program, who work for the company. Like, not just like, hey, put in a service call. Like, actually connect with them and talk with them on Facebook and go, hey, this didn't work for me. Can you tell me why? So for me, I really, really like that. And they also have a feature where they have a BeLive group that when you go live, you can share your live in the group and it gets you additional views, comments, likes, and it widens your audience when you go live. So those were the features. That's why I went with BeLive.
I bought BeLive, or I paid for it probably about 8 months ago, used it for a while on my business page until I started doing it this way. So I still pay for it. So I went on today and I'm like, I like also that you can have branding colors. You can post, you could do it from your computer, which is easier. And then other people can come on from their computers. A lot of times they're not watching from their phone. I just think it's prettier.
It's a lot prettier. Of course, it's never going to compete with the native Facebook range and reach and everything. But at the same time, I think that, like, at the end of the day, everyone jumps on live to just get on live and get views and everything like this. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that whatever you're putting out there is still going to be content people are going to go back to look at.
Right.
So you want to kind of make it as close to produced as you can and really, really have pride in your content. A lot of people don't. A lot of people just go on live and they're like, hey, let's do it. But they're not realizing that even though live is kind of like that, everyone's like, oh yeah, hey, look, that guy got, hit by a car, but it's okay. It's live. You're allowed to do, you know what I mean? Like, you have that kind of weird, like, get out of jail free card because it's live. But eventually that's going to go away. And these live broadcasts are going to be on the internet forever. So it's like, if you want to start like swearing or start doing all this kind of stuff online, understand that this stuff is saved somewhere. This stuff is going to come back and bite you in the butt. So just be really, really careful of what you do when you go live, because a lot of people might think, oh, it's just live. They're going to forgive you for a little bit, but eventually you go to a job interview and you're like, hey, I'm here for an interview, or you're working with a high-end client. And they're like, we saw you on Facebook Live 3 years ago and you're cursing up a storm and then you threw this at a window. I mean, what was that all about, And you're like, but it was live. They're like, we don't care. We don't want to work with a person like that. So that live thing gives people a little bit more of the, like, this kind of like invisible idea of freedom that they should be really thinking that these videos are going to be, they're stored somewhere and they really can come back to bite someone in the butt. So I always try to keep my lives as close to produced as possible when I can, because I think it just looks better.
Yeah, I go more random. I'm not as produced. And I also talk about it living on forever. I reuse the content. It goes up on Podbean as an audio, and it
Okay.
goes up on YouTube. So it can be watched forever. But I'm not really the cursing type, live at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I am so PG, you know what I mean? So PG, except when, of course, I come home and, you know, something like my daughter is like, you know, used her crayons on my laptop and then I kind of, you know,
Oh, my
yeah,
goodness.
stuff like that.
How old is your daughter?
My youngest one is 2.5, and she gets up with me every morning, and we kind of do her stuff. And last a couple of days ago was funny. She sat there on her stool, and she was coloring her workbook. And I was writing a really important email to this one designer in Chicago, and she sneezes. And so, like, you know, I heard her sneeze, and so part of me was like, okay, look, I'm going to tell her bless you, but I need to finish the sentence. And her name's Dorian. So she looks at me, and she gives me this grin and says, "Bless you, Dorian." Like,
come on, Dad.
I was gonna say that, but you know, it's so funny. But just kids crack you up. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days. I don't have those days anymore. I'm
yeah.
well past that. I'm empty nest. I can't even believe I'm empty nest.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. The one thing that I love is the fact that, like, with social media, I mean, imagine, because you're a whiz at this stuff too. It's like, imagine if you had the tools of taking video, photos, and all this kind of stuff and archiving the way it was. It gets so much easier. I think to myself, like, my wife and I'm like, you know, we got to take more videos and photos. These are things that she's going to be able to look at. Like, you know, I'm like, it's a cool idea to be able to save memories. Like everyone at High Point right now is like, you know, I'm like, share that stuff, take photos, enjoy it, have fun, you know, like.
Absolutely. So, oh my God, they're going to have a blast. There's so many events going on. And I don't know how I went to High Point. I think I've been to High Point like 3 times when I ran Expressive Living Art and Framing and Accessories, because I would go and I was a buyer. It was exhausting. It's like, how do you get to this? When I went to Vegas markets, it's 3 buildings, 2 or 3, and it's manageable. And it's still, you know, you're going up and down, but you really have to plan it out.
Yeah. I mean, I went to, where was it called? HD Expo in Vegas. One year, and I actually got to, like, my job was basically, because I was doing a little licensing back then, I had to walk with Clodagh through the entire floor. Oh my God, it felt like I was walking with like the 4th Beatle through the convention. Oh my God, it's Clodagh! People were like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. It took me honestly about 3 hours to walk the entire floor just because people were freaking out. And she had to leave on a flight to, like, Miami. It was so funny.
And you're still doing real estate too, or you're not doing that anymore?
I'm doing real estate. We're launching my own brand with a few people like Kathleen and Karina. We're launching a PR kind of licensing, but social media marketing company too. Karina was such an integral piece of the puzzle, and so is Kathleen. Kathleen has such whiz at, like, e-commerce. And the thing with Karina that people don't understand is she's got a master's in PR.
Really?
So for me, oh yeah, she's a whiz. So, and she's worked for big brands. So her coming on board gave us this nice feature of doing the PR stuff. So we're doing that, and we've been in talks with a couple big name clients right now, all NDA stuff. But so yeah, no, things are kind of happening on that front. But you know, everything's kind of getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's fun. Real estate for me, you know, I'll probably sell about maybe 20 houses a year, but for the most part, it's kind of to fuel my other business ideas. Real estate's a great business, and I love it, and I'm good at it. But at the same time, it's very, like, it depends on the economy, it depends on the government, all this kind of stuff. So,
yeah,
you know, you have to just kind of understand that you need to kind of invest your money in other things in order to kind of be safe. So mine will be this whole new launch of this whole new PR, marketing, and media kind of endeavor that we're doing, which it's already done well. I mean, I've been contacted left and right by people to work with. So we're just kind of picking the right clients that we want to work with and how we want to work. So it should be fun.
So you're going to be a PR marketing firm for
PR marketing. For interior designers, manufacturers, various brands that are kind of in our realm. And we've already been contacted by a couple, like 280, 100 designers who I worked with, kind of like I talked back and forth with in the past. And I told them when I was going to launch, I would contact them directly. So it should be kind of interesting going forward. We've got a couple, you know, back and forth going right now. So it should be some interesting news should be coming through the pipeline. But what we do also is we sign a lot of NDAs, because a lot of these designers also, when you work social media and marketing with a lot of these designers, the authenticity of social media, you need to sign some sort of NDAs, because a lot of people don't like that idea of knowing if other people are posting for them and everything. So
right,
it's kind of like, got to keep a lot of stuff on
Tell
lockdown.
everyone what an NDA is.
Non-disclosure agreement.
Good, just in case.
So for us, the two designers that we signed with are really, really big names, but at the same time, they're very interested about the whole NDA part of it, because they were like, oh yeah, and if you do our social media and marketing, we want to make sure that we lock this down. And that's understandable. If you work with a lot of these big designers, they're going to really want that. So that's going to be one of the things. And so, yeah, no, we're charging ahead. It should be fun. We're being selective about who we work with. And not because of anything other than we want to make sure that we can do what we say. You know, a lot of people that we talk to want to be on the 8100. They want to do this, they want to do that. And they have really, really high-end goals, you know,
right.
And it's not about likes. It's not about comments. It's not about followers. It's not about, you know, hey, we're going to make your brand prettier. It's about results. You have to give them results.
Well, that's what I was thinking before when you were talking. I'm thinking in the end, it's about getting clients for them.
Yeah, it's all about that. And that's the thing. If you hire anyone, like marketing wise or PR wise, it has to really be something that you could say to yourself, okay, they brought in, through their efforts, they brought in this traditional, without that, you wouldn't have that, because it doesn't really make sense if you don't go forward with that. And you have to really protect your name, because, you know, I've seen a lot of these people who go out there and do social media, and at the end of the day, you know, you really have to make your client money. That's it. You know, it's not about anything else but that. I mean, if you're fooling yourself by saying, oh, I made their feed prettier, I made this or anything, you have to make the money, you know. So for us, a lot of the clients that we've been talking to currently, for the most part, I also like to get a general idea about how much they're making, what kind of, like, what they're doing, so I can actually gauge what we need to start doing to help them bring more money into their business. Because at the end of the day, like I said, that's the bottom line, that people don't want social media people who are going to make their feed prettier, get them more followers, get them more comments. At the end of the day, those things fizzle, because I've worked with a lot of people. Like, I was working with Roger Thomas, and he was excited with the followers and the likes, people recognizing him. But I mean, if you don't add to the bottom line,
100%,
those are just like, those are vanity metrics. Those are like, oh my God, I got 30 new followers. And eventually they're like, what the hell does that mean?
It's true.
And you know, and if you don't get them some awards, if you don't get them more licensing deals or whatever, it really does. You end up, you stop being that best friend, and you start being that, like, why the hell did we hire this person anyway? So you really need to bring in money.
You do. And it takes consistency, though, also. You know, I've seen people go, well, I did that and it just didn't work, so I stopped doing it. Well, how long did you do it for? 3 weeks, you know, 4 weeks? It needs to be 6 months, 9 months for you to sometimes start to see results. And that's where people tend to fall off. They're not patient and they don't want to be consistent. I've told this story before. When I only had 800 followers, I got a client from Instagram. And now I have 5,000. I am so stuck at 5,000. I have to talk to you about that. But I'm stuck at 5,000. And I got another client from Instagram. The other day, I got a client from LinkedIn. I do get quite a few people who find me from these Facebook Lives or other people, you know, other people's Facebook Lives. And of course, podcasts. So you have to throw a large net sometimes. You know, once you're making a little money and you can spend some money on virtual assistants, which we'll talk about on Tuesday, you have to give it some time to start reaping the benefits. And sometimes people get impatient.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, look, as long as you have some sort of analytic to back up your play, I think you're in good shape, you know. But I think the analytics definitely need to, like anything you do, the analytic needs to back it up, you know. And you have to train your client analytic, because you really want them on board with everything you're doing. Like you said, everything does their testing process 3, 6, 9 to a year's time to do it. But as long as you have a clear path of where you're going, and you can show your client or, you know, yourself that you're going in that direction, never lose sight. Because I mean, honestly, social media is such a trip, because you get on there, you start doing social media, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I haven't talked to Bill in so long. Let me see what Bill's up to. Click. And then you're like, oh, he's married? Oh my God, who's he married? Oh my God, they know that. And then you're like, 3 hours later, you're like, man, what just happened to me? So you gotta really be focused.
Oh, yeah. It's a black hole for sure. I actually have set a timer sometimes for myself and say, okay, I'm only going to stay on a half an hour. And I have a mission during that half an hour, right? I have to post in certain places, connect with certain people, and then I'm off, because otherwise it's just hours.
Yeah, you definitely have to. And you have to definitely set more like a time limit and kind of like a battle plan on what you're going to do every single day to do it. You know, and Instagram, just taking Instagram in general, Instagram's a lot harder platform than most right now because of after the Instagram update that happened. It's a lot tougher. Like I'm telling a lot of people when they're stuck on the amount of followers that they have, I would actually do your posting as normal, but I would say up the stories. You know, like I said, like my stories are bringing me in a lot of my followers.
Yeah,
you know,
I haven't really gotten into stories.
I did this one story that was actually kind of cool yesterday. And do you remember back in the day how people on Instagram would do a collage, like one picture here, one picture there, one picture there, you know? Okay, so what I did is I used that old technology and I broke up a picture into like 3 blocks. And I basically started off with just a random photo. And I said, like, follow the puzzle to see the final reveal. And each photo, I grabbed each block. And then at the last post was the whole block, everything completed. And I just kind of teased people in, used different hashtags for each post, different locations. And I can honestly tell you at the end of the day, I got probably close to 2,000 eyeballs on all of them. I gained about 10 to 15 followers, and I got a bunch more like things. So, and stories are the way to go. Stories are what really are going to be getting you.
They're
followers.
So time consuming.
They are, but like there's a rhythm to it. There's a rhythm. I mean, if you just start doing it like for about a week or 2 stories, and you start really kind of understanding the method to the madness, then all of a sudden they become really quick. I can do maybe 4 or 5 stories during the course of a morning, probably within about 3 to 4 minutes. You know. And so
all right, so you're gonna come and do a special training for my clients on Instagram stories. I want it to be that specific because so then I can learn too. It's my way of trying to get you in so I can learn too at the same time.
Yeah. And what I'll also do is I'll send you over some screenshots so you can see my metrics. I like to also show metrics and what I'm doing. Like in the group that I'm doing right now, I always do full transparency. So I'll do case studies. Like I'll be like, okay, this is what I posted and this is exactly how it worked. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone always has theories, but for me, I'm like, yeah, look, for me, if someone says to me, hey, post blue, it's a better color. I'm like, well, do you have stats to back that up? Do you have any analytics? Right. Because everyone's got a theory. Everyone's got an opinion, you know, the old saying. But for me, I always like to back up my claims with analytics. Strict. This is the analytics. Some of my tactics work, some of them don't, but I always like to show people this is what I said you should do, and this is why. Look, I did it yesterday, and this is what it gave me, so people can kind of gauge and say, oh crap, okay, it did work for him. Okay, cool, so let me give that a try. So
see, now if you're having a virtual, because I do not do I think I did maybe 2 Instagram stories, and I thought, oh, I just can't do this right now. But you really can't have a virtual assistant do your stories.
Yeah, you can.
Because I always thought stories were more like it's the personal side.
Nah, not so much. Okay, here's the thing for stories that I always do. I keep stories on my phone. So like you can have various images and just tag in stories to just pop in. Like I even sometimes reuse my stories with different hashtags and different locations. So for stories, it's pretty easy. I mean, if you sent a virtual assistant like maybe 5 photos, or maybe even you wanted to Dropbox them like 300 photos. The main thing about these photos is the message, the hashtag, and the location. That's it. So like I would send my virtual assistant maybe like 10 photos and say, okay, these 10 photos are for tomorrow. Now, these are the various hashtags of different locations I want in all these photos. And the current theme with these photos is the color blue. So these are the sayings I want in each story. So they just upload the photos and call it a day.
Yeah, that's already too much for me to want to tell a virtual assistant. I just want them to do it.
Well, no. Once you train them.
Yes, I said, I have to know how to do it first before I can say this is how I like it done, because this is, like you said, the metrics are showing that this is working for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think you have to have metrics to do it. Yeah, so at least for me, like anything I do, like I said, I've always tested it. I've always had the analytic to back it up in case someone says like, hey, that's BS. And honestly, if I have a theory that I throw up and someone says, you know what, that does not work, I'll test it again. And if it doesn't work, I'll be the first one to say, I'm bowing down. You're totally right. Because, you know, like, look, here's the thing. I always tell people, I'm like, as much as I think I know social media, there's someone, a 16-year-old in freaking Zimbabwe that knows 30 million times more than I do. And that's just the way it is. Social
100%.
media goes too fast. You cannot keep up with it. And I tell people this, I'm like, if someone's telling you it as a fact, unless they have a Billy at Instagram.com, they don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, just understand it's really a changing, evolving thing. Instagram more than most. I mean, Instagram releases like a new feature every day. You know,
I know it looks so simple. And then when you start to dig in, you're like, oh my God, there's so much I can actually do. And it takes, see, but that's another thing. I say, pick what you love to do, where your ideal client is hanging out. Learn everything there is about that. So I don't consider, for me, Instagram the be all and end all. For me, it's definitely more LinkedIn and Facebook. So I've put a lot more attention into those than I've put into Instagram. But then I get a client again from Instagram and I go, maybe I should be putting more time into Instagram. But now I have to go into learning mode.
Well, here's the thing that I tell people. I'm like, look, if people go to a website or try to find someone online, chances are the first place that they're going to look is Instagram. Everyone always looks to Instagram first. So like if they're looking for someone who's more visual, you know, you're more coaching, but for like a designer, it's a visual. They want to see their visual idea. Facebook is kind of a cluster. Instagram is a lot more of like this is what I get, this is what I see.
Right.
At the end of the day, you know, like you said, you have to pick out where you're going. I'd say for designers, Instagram is a great platform and it's less spammy. Like I was talking to Ian, I'm like, look, here's the thing. And we're talking about different video platforms. So it's like, look, YouTube is a tough platform. It's a hard nut to crack. Instagram is a hard nut to crack. Facebook, it's pretty easy to crack. You know, it just is it's an open platform. It's easy to just get going and doing that stuff. I'm like, but I will be honest with you, like, if you're doing video, it might take you longer, but if you get to like YouTube, a good YouTube channel, it's worth more the long run. You know what I mean? You just have to pick what to invest your time in, but also understand that for example, for me, I do an Instagram live call-in show type thing. And everyone's like, why don't you do this on Facebook? I'm like, look, I'm trying to look ahead of the curve and I'm trying to do something that most people can't do or don't want to do.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to do that. Facebook Live for me, I think Facebook Live, I don't want to call it like, it's an easier medium because you can use that personal page. You know what I mean? It just is, you know, like my mom would tune in and say, I love you straight up. You know, my cousin and you know what, it's just an easier platform.
I haven't seen them on here yet saying that they love you.
I know. My mom's pissed at me. I haven't gone to visit her in a while.
Oh no, go visit your mother. That's terrible.
I know. But like I said, I mean, like you have to focus on where your clients are coming from. But I would say if you focus on any of these social media channels, they can bring you in some people no matter what. Instagram, everything's shifting to Instagram. I mean, how many new features have been released on Facebook? How many new features are released on Instagram?
A lot, But so Facebook owns Instagram. So in the end, it's all going to intertwine.
It is, but at the same time, it doesn't strike you as being very odd? Like Facebook is kind of stayed stagnant. They're like, okay, so we're just going to leave it. It's almost like laying in wait. And Instagram, every day, a new thing. It just, for me, I always say to myself, okay, if someone's putting a lot of attention on one platform, that means they're expecting some really big things out of it. And so for me, that's kind of my focus on Instagram. I'm like, look, you know, they're doing all this stuff for a reason. They're not, you know, if it was a dead platform, they wouldn't invest this much time or anything in it. So for me, I'm kind of trying to be a little ahead of the curve by sticking on Instagram because I think there's something there. It's like digging for gold. You know what I mean? All the gold miners are over on the other hill, and I'm looking at this one hill saying, you know, there's something there. And so, you know, you never know, but I think it's a worthwhile investment.
You're an innovator. You're an innovator. You want to be at the, you know, cutting edge of the next big jump in Instagram, and that's what you're working on. But I have to ask you about pods, because pods is a big controversy about pods.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you know what, are they good? Are they not? For those who don't know what a pod is, I don't even know how you explain a pod. You go into a group with a bunch of other people and you support each other in liking and commenting on your posts, so it increases the algorithm on Instagram, and Instagram seeing the amount of activity and how much people are interacting with your post will push your post out to more people, and that's to increase your following. Did I explain that right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing, and the reason why we're doing one on Instagram or for interior design is people in the interior design group that I'm running have pretty good feeds. There's nothing spammy, nothing weird going on there. Right. And I'm a big person in saying to myself, look, I'm not a designer, and like I have a huge Instagram following. Like
huge. How big is your following now?
We're closing in on 37,000 followers.
That's insane.
Yeah, so like I look at it this way: if my brand can spread a little love to other designers, give a comment, give a like, give a real idea. Like I'll be honest with you, and this is what I find in the group too, is people are actually looking through the photos of designers. They're seeing the comments and they're writing something. Sometimes it's not like an amazing, like, oh my God, that room blew me away. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I would have used blue in that room. But these are kind of more authentic comments because people who live and breathe interior design are looking at these things really intently and saying, oh, so for me, I don't know. I'm all about positivity. Yeah. I don't think, look, here's the thing. When I worked with Roger Thomas, he didn't care. He always gave love to everyone. He didn't go, oh my God, I'm putting this comment on. People are going to totally chastise me for saying that. I like that. He was like, no, man, all these people are designers trying to make a living, trying to do something they love. And I think he was all about spreading the love. Clodagh was the same thing. So for me, I was always kind of like, well, these are your fellow designers. If you think you're that high in the mountain where you can't spread a little love or say something good about someone's work or just say something like, you know what, that's really kind of cool. That's interesting. I don't think that there's anything wrong with being positive. And for me,
no, and supporting each other, that's huge. No. I mean, all that positive energy, like we're all going to drive each other up collectively by being positive about what everyone's doing. There's no reason to be negative. It's just not nice. It's no reason for that.
No, I don't think so. So for me, I looked at that and I said to myself, look, 20 likes, 20 comments, that's not going to make or break anyone's Instagram account. But at the same time, I would much rather look at 20 design photos every single day and look at them, get inspired, and spread a little love than kind of open up my Instagram feed and see a bunch of butts and thongs and like this and that out there and have to sift through that stuff. Like for me, I just don't really, that doesn't work for me. The other thing too is a lot of these Instagram accounts that are interior design related that have hundreds and thousands of followers, I'm not a big fan of going to like the invisible area and putting up a comment and no one responding back to me. Do you know what I mean? I like that whole like, let's engage. A lot of people have gotten new followers. A lot of people have discovered new interior designers that they never knew about. So for me, I think it's kind of a positive thing, to be honest. Like I don't understand the freeze back. And a lot of people too, it's so funny. A lot of people said, like, how you say, a lot of people have said, oh my God, this is horrible. And they've come running back to the pod and we welcome people back with open arms and just say, like, look at what you're looking at. Think about it really, really rationally. Are these photos that you're looking at, is it that bad? I mean, you look at it like,
no, it's not that it's bad, but it's time spent. Is it, like Heather's saying, is it going to increase her following to a new potential client? So I'm huge on time management with my clients. Totally. Do not waste your time doing something that is not, in the end, after consistency and 3 to 6 months, not going to bring you new clients, because it's just a waste of your time if you're in a business growth mode. And obviously anyone who's working with me, hopefully they're in a business growth mode. So I have to really, I've taken people's calendars, my one-on-one clients, and go, read me what you have coming up in the next 2 weeks. Okay, say no to that, no to that, no to that, and stop doing that. Because right now you're focusing on getting new clients and increasing your profitability. So does that help them? And is that good use of their time?
I will tell you this. If you're a designer and a client comes to your Instagram account and sees your photo, sees this, just because you got a little bit more engagement, and all of a sudden sees a bunch of other designers that say that they love your work, they think it's beautiful, it gives you so much street cred. You can't tell me that back in the day, kind of what's called like, if someone, like if Roger Thomas posted a photo on Instagram and then Clodagh said, oh my God, that was beautiful. And then Vincent Wolf said, oh my God, that's amazing. You don't think people would look at that and go, oh my God, man, look at the love he's getting from all these other designers. Like, being praised and loved by your peers is super huge. You know, I'm not going to tell you that you're going to get more client. Like, I would much rather have those comments on my page as a designer. I want my community. I want the designers showing me love for the stuff that I do. Because I'll tell you something, a lot of people will find designers on Houzz or whatever, check out the designer, check out their Instagram account, check out their first few photos. Now, if their first few photos have a nice amount of likes and a nice amount of comments, they're going to go to these comments, and then they're going to see what? Their peers saying how amazing they are.
You know what you're talking about, you're saying street cred. I'd say social proof. It's social proof. So if somebody does go to your Instagram and you do have more likes and lots of comments on your photos, and perhaps a very well-known designer here and there, or just other designers complimenting your work, that might help them go then to your website or contact you through Instagram, because it's social proof.
Absolutely. Right. Now, I'll tell you why. Like, a lot of the stuff that I've seen, or like, you know, a lot of the comments back and forth, or for a lot of these people Instagram accounts, are like, nice photo, nice pic. Like, these.
No, it's got to be more than that.
Yeah, these generalized kind of like blah 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 comments. Like, the comments that you're going to see and your clients are going to see are like, I love the way you used blue. The way that the couches were is amazing. Great job. That's something that sticks with a client. That's something that goes like, wow, yeah, I didn't see that, but now I get it. So a lot of these designers are also pointing out different angles of this photo for you. It's not you patting yourself on the back. It's all your community saying, God, that was an awesome shot. You know what? That project you did in Malibu, that was gorgeous. Oh my God, great job. And those chairs, oh my God, what a great choice.
I always point out the artwork. I always do.
Yeah.
I love how the artwork brings all the colors that because that's my background, is the art. So I always notice the artwork and the accessories and how it really brings everything together. Chloe's saying, please follow my Instagram, Nancy and Mark. I think I follow you already, Chloe. Let me just go.
If I don't go over to mine, follow me, I'll follow you right back. I'm not a big.
Now, do you do that? That's a good question, because I was kind of funny, and I won't name her, but there was somebody who I followed her. She followed me, then I followed her. And then 3 days later, she unfollowed me, and I saw her in person. I'm like, you know, she's like, I didn't do that. I'm like, yeah, you did.
Oh.
It was a friend. So it was kind of funny, but
for me, sometimes I will. Look, sometimes I will not follow someone back. It's not because I won't follow them. It's just because I either space out. I've got 30 notifications after that. So it's not really like, oh God, I don't want to follow someone. I don't really care. You know, I mean, honestly.
Does that matter to Instagram, as far as your knowledge, that if you had 30,000 followers and you followed 30,000 people, which I know you probably don't, I haven't looked, does that change the Instagram algorithm, you think, if you're just following a bunch of people in hopes that they follow you back, or that you're following more people than are following you?
You know, for me, here's the thing. I don't want to follow people that the only reason why they're following me is because of that. Like, I don't want that. I cleaned out my feed a long time ago, so I think I'm following like 700 people. I don't mind following more people if like we're genuine about the follow thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, if you have amazing stuff and you want to follow me, and if you send me a DM and say, hey, I followed you, man, you know, you didn't follow me back, I'll follow you. I don't really have that kind of like that mentality. I would say on Instagram, though, it does look a little bad if you have way more people you're following than are following you.
Right.
You know, at least for me, that's a big sign if someone's trying to grow their account by the follow method. It's like you see someone who says like they have 600 followers and then like they're following 7,000 accounts. All they're doing there is trying to get so many people to follow them. Then they're going to unfollow and they're going to go through that whole thing. So
right.
I would say keep the ratio. I would say keep it maybe for every 100 that are following you, follow maybe 20, I'd say.
Yeah, I might be over that. I did the follow for follow thing when I first started, you know, like when you first start, you know, this is the other thing about social media. And then I just want to go back and read a couple of the comments. You start out, like every business, actually, you start out in the experimental stage where you're just experimenting. What are people liking? You're learning the different features, and you really don't know what you're doing. And then you go more into systematizing it and going, okay, I got a good system going here, which is probably where I am with Instagram. I've got a good system going. But then if you want to go into growth mode, you have to really learn and take the time to learn it. And that goes with anything in your business, right? First, you're experimenting, throwing that spaghetti against the wall, hoping, and then see what sticks. And now you got to dig into that and really learn it. But Heather's saying, oh, then head over to my business page, got a video of my studio and some of the pillows I plan to sell. I have to take a look. Chloe, again. Bates? Yeah.
Heather, by the way, congratulations on your new iPhone 10 purchase. Start throwing up more videos. Awesome. I love it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, she got an iPhone 10. She was so excited.
I want to get an iPhone 10. That's a good idea. Okay, John's saying, John Tedesco, his show is right after mine. It increases your credibility with many exposure and more likes, more comments, definitely. Oh, Elizabeth, good for you, Nancy, to call them out. I had 2 friends sign up for my new opt-in and then get out immediately. The whole follow-unfollow thing drives me nuts, Wendy said. Yeah, I mean, and again, I think a lot of people start out that way. Chloe said phone went flat. Very true. I don't follow this, Heather, again. I don't follow everyone who follows me. If they have a locked account, they aren't. Yeah, that's the other thing. If they have a locked account and they have to approve you, I'm like,
Oh, yeah. I hate that.
Yeah, forget it. Forget it. Then.
Oh, and by the way, hey, I'm a man of my word. If you're following me and I'm not following you back, send me a DM. I probably spaced out. It's really, for me, it's not really that big of a deal. So just send me a DM and I'll follow you right back.
I want to know how many hours a day you spend on Instagram, or do you have a virtual assistant I'll ask you that again on Tuesday when we talk about it.
No, I spend maybe a good 2 to 3 hours on Instagram, maybe at variable times. But at the same time, I could probably be a little bit more efficient, to be honest. I like Instagram. I like the platform. I spend a lot of time growing it. I don't know if I'm really in growth mode, although I will say that my account grows maybe about 100 followers every week.
Nice.
But I don't think I'm really in growth mode.
Well, you have extra features over 10,000 too. So I don't have access to all the features yet. I don't even remember what those features are, but I remember going, I don't have all those features.
No, there's only really one feature that everyone's talking about. Is that means that you can swipe up and go directly to a URL. So when you do, or you can swipe up. That's really, really huge. So I don't know. I think it's hard right now. Instagram's a tough platform to crack right now. I got to be honest. If I hadn't already gotten to the level I was on Instagram, I don't know how much time I would actually invest in it. It's tough.
It's tough.
A tough platform.
It's very tough. And I do inspiration business tips. So I was in your pod for I'm still in it. I got to turn off Telegram because it keeps notifying me.
Totally.
But I didn't really feel like, these are interior designers who want to see each other's work, and I'm posting inspiration as their business coach. And I'm thinking, you know what? Yes, they are my ideal client, and I should be active in your pod for as long as anyone can tolerate me. But in the end, I thought, this is not where I want to spend my time right now.
Totally.
And that's really everybody's individual decision. Where do you feel comfortable marketing yourself? Is your ideal client there? I absolutely agree with you that at least having an Instagram feed and posting regularly and working on it, at least to some extent, so you have the social proof, is important for interior designers. Pinterest is coming up too as important for interior designers. People spend hours and hours at night on Pinterest. And it's crazy, right? But you can't be LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. I don't even know what else, but I'm a little bit everywhere, but I do focus mostly on Facebook. And now a virtual assistant is helping me with LinkedIn. But just funny story. I woke up this morning and the amount of speed my LinkedIn is growing is crazy. But where are they trying to get the people? Into Actionable Entrepreneurs, which is my private group, because that's where they'll see me every day. I'm giving lessons, I'm making posts, I'm giving free training away on a regular basis. So really I'm using LinkedIn more as a kickoff to get them into Actionable Entrepreneurs, which is my private Facebook group. So sometimes you can use other platforms, not necessarily to be lead generating directly, but to get them into another one where you're heavier and you can really nurture that relationship.
Yeah, no, I definitely think you should. I always say, like, look, if you're big on one social network, you should be able to be big on the other social network. It's just about informing the people. Like, it's really that, and that's what I mean. Like, for me on Instagram, a lot of times I plug the group, I plug I plug that. It tends to work pretty well, you know. I think you should, if you're big on one social platform, there's really no reason why you can't really be big on the other social platform. You just got to direct traffic a little bit.
Right. Oh, Heather's saying Pinterest is a rabbit hole. Again, she said, I post there occasionally, have 31,000 followers. Heather, you have 31,000 followers on Pinterest? That's actually a good number.
That's solid.
That's solid. So why aren't we nurturing that more? Because you have trouble managing your time. We need to set you a timer, right? Put on a half an hour. You have a goal on Pinterest. And then when it goes off, you have to force yourself to shut it down. Do you really have 31,000 followers? I post there occasionally, have 31,000 followers. Wow.
That's awesome. Oh, hey, by the way, John, I want to check out your show. I'll probably check it out later today.
In 5 minutes.
Awesome. Yeah.
In 5. Yeah. Thanks, John. He's always fine. Right after I get off, Richie's always like, let's go out and get something to eat. I'm like, wait, I got to check in on John's show.
See, next time have Richie bring a bottle of wine for Fridays, and then you can hang out at the happy hour for John's show.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He actually has been in Jersey. He went for a client in Jersey and didn't get back until 3 o'clock today. Had to actually go buy clothes because there was an emergency with one of his clients and he had to stay there. So he just walked in the door and he's ready to go get something to eat. And then usually we go see music, but now he's like done. He's exhausted.
Well, yeah, I know Fridays are about relaxing. But hey, just one more thing on Pinterest. Kathleen, who's also an admin of my group too, she's a whiz at Pinterest. I don't think I've ever met anyone who knows Pinterest backwards and forwards. So we're going to be doing a workshop at the group. Kathleen Benderock, check this out. This is so interesting. She actually, a couple of years back, forced herself to do Pinterest every single day for the entire year. 365 days on Pinterest.
For how long? Like posted or just spent time?
No. Posted, pinned, everything. She had a huge regimen, but she learned that network backwards and forwards, 365 days in a row. So, like, she's going to be doing a couple workshops on Pinterest also, on how to really, really kill it. And I know a couple bloggers who actually, check this out. This is kind of cool. They actually, through 30 pins a day, just 30 pins a day, they get around 10,000 unique views to their website every month.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. To me, instead of Instagram, for me, I'm kind of liking Pinterest. And I don't do Pinterest, but one of my employees actually loves Pinterest. I'm like, go for it. Just go for it. You know, sign into my account and go for it. And I do. I post my blogs on there. My Instagram posts go onto my Pinterest. I'm a big content reuser because not everyone's they're not following me everywhere. There are actually different people following me on different platforms. So anyway, I can't believe we killed an hour.
I know.
I really thought this call-in show and like you were going to be on for 15 minutes and then, you know what? You have a lot of knowledge that I want everyone to know. So invite me to that Pinterest thing when it happens too.
Yeah, no, it'll be really, really good. But I'm gonna sign off so you can get some other people if they want to.
No, we're done. It's 5:28. I'm done in 2 minutes. So tell them again about the show on Tuesday.
So Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to be talking Nancy, we're going to be talking Ian, we're going to be talking myself, virtual assistants, how they can help you take out this social media burden that a lot of people are feeling because there's so many social networks out there. Having a virtual assistant, Nancy's going to lead us in on how the best way to find, hire, and manage virtual assistants to assist us in all these social media cool things that we should be doing, we have to be doing, but some of us aren't doing.
Correct. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. And you're going to send me a link to BeLive. So we're doing it via BeLive, and will it automatically share on my business page since I'm a co-host and that's where I'm hosting it from?
Yeah, and if not, I can just, because you'll be getting the big square because you're the big star for the show. So I'll do the sharing to your group directly. So don't even worry about it. It's all good. I'll take care of everything.
Perfect. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'm Nancy Ganzikofer, business coach to interior designers and other creative entrepreneurs. Share this broadcast. It was packed full of information. Thank you to Mark McDonough of Tastefully Inspired Podcast and so many more things. It's really not just about the podcast. If you came on late, rewatch. It was an amazing conversation about Pinterest and social media. And watch us live on Tuesday from the Tastefully Inspired page, or Nancy Ganzikofer, your business partner. I think it's Nancy Ganzikofer, business coach, where we're going to talk all about how you can use virtual assistants to help with not just your social media, actually, Mark. There's other things they can do for you too to help you run your interior design business.
I need my car washed, so if they do that,
that's not going to work. So, all right, have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks again, Mark, and I will see you guys next week on Weekend Wind Down with business coach Nancy. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.